Welcome to the Moonlight user interface for myServer 6. This video is an introduction and overview of the tablet and phone templates. Once you've installed Moonlight from the software updates in the dashboard, you will discover two project folders in the tree. One called Moonlight, and the other Moonlight Phones. Both contain the same files, just in different layouts. I am going to start with the tablet version, and once I am done with that, jump over to the phone version to show some of the differences. When I expand Moonlight, you will see a long list of files. The files are organized in alphabetical order and grouped by activity. Overlays that are associated with an activity are grouped with the main page for that activity. Files in this list that begin with the word overlay are overlays that are related to the main overall UI. As you can see, they are files such as the main navigator, volume, entertainment pop-up, etc. Let's take a closer look at the main overall files for this template. I have already pointed out the importance of the index file. It is your home page, and is required for the project to function, as it contains necessary information that the system needs. Looking at the page itself, we have used a tile format that you can alter to your needs and liking. This page often changes for residential installations on our end, as it depends on which features the home will have. It is a good place to start for your project. Each tile has an invisible button over the top, so when you touch it, it will launch the associated page. When you go to edit, you can drag these buttons off to the side, or delete them if you don't want to use them. The weather tile is large enough to show floor plans and lighting status if you are not interested in this much weather information. We do this quite often and reduce the weather to just a smaller tile with current day information. Again, you can go over to the dashboard and search for weather variables to add whatever you are interested in seeing. The security cameras can be modified to any specific ones you want to see, as long as they provide an RTSP stream. The two cameras shown here are programmed as 1 and 2. If you change the numbers, make sure you change the corresponding label above. The invisible button on top will take you to the main camera's page. The security keypad default here on the index is a Honeywell and Visa link. It can be edited for other systems. We support most of the popular home security systems including Honeywell, DSC, and ELK. In addition to the buttons shown here, you may also need to edit the text label fields in the top window. They give details on whether the system is armed or disarmed, as well as give visual feedback when typing in your code. The invisible button on top of the display area will take you to the main security page. Our climate tile is set up as an Ecobee thermostat. But we also support Lutron and Z-Wave. Here on the index page, it is set up to be able to bump the temperature up or down while in whichever mode is current. To switch modes, just click on the thermostat image to go to the full climate page. Let me quickly open the climate page. You can see here the options to set a mode. Now let's look at the overlays associated with the index page. On the index page, you will discover that there is only one main overlay, the navigator. The navigator is used on every page except in the Scheduler app. As shown in the buttons part 2, and working with overlays and scenes videos, there are a couple of secondary overlays that have been applied to the navigator. They include the volume control pop-up as well as the entertainment pop-up where you select a user, room and activity. The Alanis logo is also included here. Let's quickly take a look at these entertainment overlays. All the lists on this entertainment overlay are automatically generated by the system. There is nothing you need to do here unless you choose to alter the location or size of the lists. When launched, you select a user first, then a room, and then an activity. The activities are user and room specific. Now let's look at the volume overlay. The volume is available on every page as it has been applied to the main navigator. It will automatically adjust volume on whichever device is controlling volume in the room. This overlay is not something you should need to change. The rest of the navigator is made up of the icons that launch each page. Each individual icon is made up of 3 parts. The first is the transparent button, which sits on top of everything. It contains the text as well as the client command. The next is the icon itself, whether it be a label with an icon or an image. We use either or, depending on what works best for us in each situation. In the case here, the first 4 are SVG files and the last 2 are labels with icons. Finally, there is a thin panel below which contains an active scene state variable. This is used as a highlight and shows which page you are currently on. On the internal pages of the project, you will find another overlay called Navigator Top. This overlay is a base, where other features and labels can be stacked, depending on what the activity is. There are no secondary overlays here, as we would not want them to show on all pages using this particular navigator. As you can see, if you look at an activity such as Apple TV, there is a corresponding overlay labeled Nav. These are the overlays that get added to individual activity pages in addition to the top navigator. When you add 2 or more overlays, you always need to pay attention to the order in which they are stacked. The first overlay listed is at the bottom of the UI, and each additional one is on top of the last. You may have to play around with this to get things layered in the best way. Another overlay that we add to the top navigator on some pages is called Overlay Nav Weather. This overlay is grouped with the main overlays instead of the collection of weather pages, since it is related to the overall UI and is only added on specific pages where you would like to see it. You will find it on the top navigator for pages such as irrigation and climate, for example. There are a couple more overlays to point out. One is a ticker and ticker message. You have the option of placing a ticker across your UI, and these files are set up for display across the top. The other option is a home back overlay. This is in the event you would like to put a home and back button in the upper left. This is an option that some customers are used to and prefer. It is purely preference. The last file associated with the main Moonlight UI is the About page, which provides our company information. This is tied to the Alanis logo. It is not required for the UI to function and is optional. Now let's go to the Moonlight Phones project and take a look. As you will see, there is the same collection of files, although there may be a few more in places as to accommodate all the information required for each activity. You can see this here with Apple TV. There is an extra more overlay. On the other hand, you may see less files for an activity to make the UI simpler for the user. You can see this with weather. If we open the index page for the phone, you will see 6 buttons to launch the corresponding pages. Climate has an invisible button over the top, as it has a few additional labels, including the room of the thermostat that is selected, the current temperature for that room, and whether it is on or off. The buttons on this page are editable to your needs and liking. If we go to the main overlay files, again you will see the same as in tablets, minus a couple such as ticker and the optional home/back. Let's open the navigator. Here you will see the same entertainment area with the home button to the right. Just like in tablets, the volume and entertainment pop-up are applied here. The shape of this navigator can be adjusted to fit the style of your phone. Now if we look at the entertainment pop-up for the phone, you will see that the components have been resized to fit the space. They are the same list components as in the tablets. The volume pop-up is also the same. The overlay weather is also a top left option like in tablets, and can be applied to whichever pages you like. Unlike tablets, there is no top navigator base to which other overlays are stacked. Here we just apply them to pages on their own, as a top navigator base does not work well at the top of all phone options. Finally, like in tablets, there is an About page. It is set up the same way as it is tied to our company logo. That is it for this video. We will take a closer look at some of the individual activities next. Thanks for watching.